For this edition of the SRA 2-for-1 special, basically it's going to cover all the chase races from both the Xfinity and the Cup Series. So these highlights are going to be a little bit more condensed, but it gives everyone an idea going to the season finales on Sunday and Monday for the SRA Xfinity Series and the SRA Gen 6 Series. Enjoy the highlights.
And now here they are, the most daredevil group of daffy drivers to ever whirl their wheels in the wacky races, competing for the title of the world's wackiest racer. The cars are approaching the starting line. First is the Turbo Terrific, driven by Peter Perfect. Next, Rufus Roughcut and Sawtooth in the Buzzwagon. Maneuvering for position is the Army Surplus Special. Right behind is the Ant Hill Mob in their Bulletproof Bomb. And there's ingenious inventor, Pat Pending in his converter car. Oh, and here's the lovely Penelope Pitstop, the glamour gal of the gas pedal. Next, we have the Bouldermobile with the Slag Brothers, Rock and Gravel. Lurching along is the creepy coupe with the gruesome twosome, and right on their tail is the Red Max. And there's the Arkansas Chugabug with Luke and Blubber Bear. Sneaking along last is that mean machine with those double-dealing do-batters, Dick Dastardly and his sidekick, Muttley. And even now they're up to some dirty trick, and they're off to a standing start. And why not? They've been chained to a post by shifty Dick Dastardly, who shifts into the wrong gear. And away they go on the way out wacky races.
It was time to begin the chase for Sim Racing Authority. We start things off with the SRA Elwood Designs Xfinity Series as they came to the Iowa Speedway for the first race of round number 1 in the chase. Nicholas Shelton once again was on the pole with Alex Peck alongside in the front 2 spots, and early on no one had anything for Shelton as he would pull away late early on. But that didn't mean there was some great racing early on. In fact, there's a little bit of dirt track action. Tyler's Charm trying to get the top 5 Bulldog. Crazy slide job on David Shutt, and Eric Sable gets 2 for the price of 1. He would move up a couple spots in the top 5. Further back, Marcus Richardson, who started at the back, was in the middle of a 3-wide fight with Nick Norfolk. Brett Boncari and Ariani almost made it 4 wide on the exit turn 2, but they all get through and they will stay 3 wide, and Marcus Richardson would make his charge up through the field. But this race wouldn't be without incident as the caution would fly 6 times, most notably for this crash with Brett Boncari and David Shutt in the front straightaway, a spin for Tyler Sharma on 1 restart, and then a pile up in 3 and 4. Once again, David Shutt was also involved in this mess as well, with Austin Roberts and a few others. Late in the race, Caleb Eisenhower was having a decent run the top 5 here, trying a slide job of his own, just trying to hold up Alex Peck and Jared Darling. But eventually that would be to no avail, and he would finish just outside the top 5 in the first race of the chase at the Iowa Speedway. In the end, no one had anything for Nicholas Shelton. He would go on to get another dominating performance and pick up race win number 1 of the chase at the Iowa Speedway as the caution would fly for 6 times in this one. The chase then went to the Dover International Speedway for 160 laps, and again Nicholas Shelton was the dominant car once again, leading every lap early on in this race, and he was lapping even inside cars in the top 10. But then Caleb Eisenhower, who was running in the top 2 earlier in the race, gets loose and hits the inside wall. That would cost the first caution of the race, and that would trap a bunch of cars lapped down. In fact, 8 cars would be on the lead lap on this particular restart, and guys were fighting it out for position second through on back. Tyler Sharm, Jarvis Shipman, Nick Norfolk, Brett Boncari, Femi Olat were among others in the top 5, trying to fight their way for valuable points in the chase. Then another caution car as Josh Robert on fresher tires gets into Eric Sable. They both crash on the front straightaway, stabbing on the second caution of the race and set up a bit of a frantic finish. Well, except for the lead. Nicholas Shelton would once again dominate and pick up his 2nd win in a row in the chase, but behind him, Alex Peck was battling Femi Olet for a top 5 spot, and Brett Boncari, he hits Mark Newland. Delonte Valley the pace of it. Nicholas Carrasco smashes into Newland, and now it caused a wreck on the last lap. It was then on to the final race of round number 1 as they came to the Talladega Super Speedway, where there would be 48 lead changes in this one. It didn't even take long for the lead changes to start. Mark Newland, who was on the pole, would get passed by Ledard. Derek Bordeaux was entered turn number 1, and that would prove to set the tone throughout the entire race, as there were lead changes galore, left, right, and even center, as the draft package and the Xfinity cars provide some incredible racing throughout, and the outside line would also be plenty of a big advantage. Then lap number 13 we get the first caution as Brian Wortman slides up into Aaron Cummings and then gets tapped in the rear by Sean Williams. Looked like a minor incident, but then Wortman slides up and tags the outside wall, and he would fall off contention early on. And then on lap number 20, Keaton Henry, who was in the lead, loses the lead, then loses the back end, and turn 3 makes an incredible save, and lucky does not slide up into the field and cause the big one. As that happened, Luis Salmaso took over the race lead, and he then loses to Derek Bordeaux. Then a couple laps later, Mark Newland with 3 wide slides up into Femi Olad, and that causes the first of 2 big ones of the day. This one would collect Marcus Richardson, Jared Darling, and many, many more, including Chance Crum as well. And that was the second caution of the race. And then after a restart a few laps later on, Connor Anton gets into Caleb Eisenhower, who overcorrects, smashes Lachlan McMillan, and then the outside wall. Brett Von Kari had nowhere to go but luckily ghosted through, and that would be the third caution of the race. And then more crazy racing. Kyle Punter was leading it split 3 wide by Ariani and Tyler Ducharme. Ducharme would go into the race lead, albeit briefly, as there were even more changes galore. Here was Jonathan Shipman getting help from Bobby Chain to take over the lead. And then it was some 3 wide action with Ducharme, Putz, and Shipman all in the mix, as the lead kept changing many, many, many times. Then Jonathan Shipman trying to squeeze up in the middle lane into Sean Williams, causes another multi-car wreck in turn number 1. This one would involve Sean Williams, Ariati, Keaton Henry, and also John Barry making his return to the series. Charles Bertelli getting a minor piece of it, but that would cause the third caution of the race. And then later on, the number 60, Tyler Sharp, who fell back out of the lead pack, was in a second group of cars, but he gets into Josh Robin. They both go spinning in turn number 3. Now proved to be caution number 5 in the race, and Ducharme, who eventually falls out of contention for the win, would play a big part later on. Even more tight racing throughout. Nicholas Shelton would start to make his presence, although running in the back most of the day, gets help from Cedric Hunter, but he would then lose the lead almost right back as they head down the Max Straightaway on number 73. And then as soon as he takes the lead, Nicholas Carreso gets a big push from Bobby Cheney, and he would go to the race lead. And it was then beyond go time. Lap number 85, they were 3 wide in the mix, with Austin Roberts now making his presence felt, with help from Ducharme, who was a lap car at the time. And then coming to the white flag, Ducharme was behind Cheney on the inside. Nicholas Shelton and Brett Von Kari fighting it out for the win. Cheney gets the lead in turn 1, and as they were counting for 3 and 4, Von Kari slides up into Kyle Punch, causes a wreck behind him, and as the field would work down toward the start-finish line, it would be Bobby Cheney getting his first win of the season, as in the background, Delonte Bauer slides through the grass and smashes into the parked car of Caleb Eisenhower. The final results were Bobby Cheney, Austin Roberts, Nicholas Shelton, Brett Von Kari, Kyle Putz, Delonte Ballard, if the wreck was 6th, Nicholas Shelton, Nicholas Carreso, Alex Peck, Cedric Hunter, and Sean Williams will round the top 10 after a crazy race at Talladega. And your final 6 chase qualifiers would be Nicholas Shelton, Tyler Ducharme, Delonte Ballard, Alex Peck, Ariati, and Brett Von Kari. The Gen 6 Series in SRA would go to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway for their first race of the chase, with once again Nicholas Shelton on the pole, and Tyler Ducharme moved up to the number 2 spot after Caleb Eisenhower was having connection issues early on. Ducharme's good start would not last long as he was sliding down the field He would get loose in the exit turn 2 and make a nice save, but his free fall would continue early on. A guy not having issues was the leader of Clamp Nation, Logan Clampett, who started 17th. He would here get by Kyle Putz for a top 5 position. But his charge up to the front would then be halted by a netcode issue with David Schutt. He would spin and loop it around, but luckily he would continue on and make his charge up the field again. Ariani would provide a big scare later on in the race with a great save, and luckily he would continue on. But the race was marked by 11 cautions as it took out a majority of cars and dwindled the field towards the end of the race. This also included the points leader Nicholas Shelton, but luckily he would not have any damage to his car. And then near the end of the race on a late restart, there would be some controversy. Logan Clampett got a terrific jump. David Schutt was caught napping, and Tyler John tried to take advantage, but Schutt on them toward the wall. He would have none of it, and they would both go sliding over turn 1 and 2. Connor Anton would take advantage of it, take the number 2 spot away. Both Ducharme and Schutt would bump and grind it down the back straightaway. When they go into turn 3, there was a netcode issue, and they both go drifting in turn 3. Schutt saves it. Ducharme overcorrects and gets plowed by Kyle Putz. In the end, Logan Clampett would hold off Connor Anton and Nicholas Shelton to score his for the win at New Hampshire. With all the carnage at New Hampshire, the field was a bit smaller as they came to the Michigan International Speedway for the running the Michigan 100. With once again Nicholas Shelton on the pole, along with Femi Ola and Jared T. Darling among the top 3. Early on, a lot of drivers were struggling with very slick track conditions, which did provide some good racing from around 3rd place on back with Connor Anton, Jared Darling, Bobby Cheney, among others. And the guy struggling most was Darling. He was in the top 3, but was sliding backwards, made a great save on the exit of turn number 4, but the guy who couldn't save it was the returning Brian O'Shell. He would spin in turn 3, take a little kiss in the outside wall, and that made the first caution of the race. Then after a restart, Brett Boncari making his first start, overcorrects out of turn 4 and gets plowed hard by Jared Darling. That'll make the second caution of the race. After pit stop, Nicholas Shelton had a bad stop who was dominating the whole time. That allowed Femi Ola, Bobby Cheney, and Delonte Ballard to take advantage of the situation here. Ola would take the lead, and then later on, just before green flag pit stops, Delonte would get the lead right back from Femi Ola, and those two were providing on a bit of a show. Shelton would take the lead on number 78. Delonte would go for a short pit. Shelton saves in the fuel and picks up yet another win at the Michigan International Speedway. It was then on to Talladega once again for the finale of round number 1, as the Cup drivers were hoping to maybe top was a wild race for the Xfinity Series. It was Ariani on the pole for this one with John Shipman, Caleb Eisenhower among the top 3, Femi Ola and Lachlan Miller in there as well. And early on, we were getting some very close side-by-side 2x2 action. And here was an example where Caleb Eisenhower getting help from Femi Ola to take over release lead early on, and there was even some new players up in the mix, as here was Blake Freeman getting help from Jared Darling, and he would take over the race lead in the early part of this green flag run. Later on, Caden Henry was sliding up and getting hooked by Nicholas Carrezzo, who then gets into Josh Robin. Those cars would have damage now break up the main lead pack from the mid-pack back. And then after green flag pit stops, the pack was starting to get smaller and smaller and smaller. There was still some good action though, as Nicholas Shelton here would take the lead, but then right back came Kyle Putz with help from Eisenhower, and he would come right back to the lead. And then after another set green flag pit stop, the lead pack down to 5. It would be 4. Delonte Ballard, who was in 3rd, grenades the motor right in front of Shelton and Trevor Pertelli, and that broke up the main pack to 2 cars. In the end, Kyle Putz would hold off Femi Ola, who was trying to use lap traffic to his advantage, and he would pick up the win at the Talladega Super Speedway, making up for his disappointing finish in the Xfinity race, as he felt he had a chance to win it. It would be Putz, Ola, Nicholas Shelton, Connor Anton, Trevor Pertelli in 5th, Lachlan McMillan was 6th, Nicholas Carrezzo, Sean Williams, Jared Darling, and Spencer Owens round the top 10 in a caution-free race at Talladega. And your final 6 chase qualifiers would be Nicholas Shelton, Femi Olat, Bobby Cheney, Connor Anton, Delonte Ballard, and Josh Donovan will get the final seed as they both series head to the Atlanta Motor Speedway.